Okay, this is Coach Jones, and this is Tuesday night's lesson 5-1, solving multi-step inequalities. We are going to skip single-step inequalities and go straight to multi-step inequalities. So the very first thing and most important thing that you need to learn for inequalities is this fact right here. So make sure you write this down and understand it. It says when you multiply and divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you must flip the inequality sign. So we're going to flip the inequality sign from less than to greater than, or from greater than to less than. So here are two good examples, example A and example B, for how we're going to flip the sign. On example A, we're dividing both sides by -8. So since we're dividing by a negative number, I'm going to flip from a greater than sign here to a less than sign here. And so my answer would be x is less than -9. The same thing on example 2. On this example, I'm multiplying by -5, both sides here and here. And so I'm going to flip from less than or equal to greater than or equal to. So there's two good examples. This would be the best answer for example B because the variable is on the left. So here are two examples of, for each problem here, we are trying to isolate x. In each question, I'm trying to isolate x on one side. So for example 1, I'm going to multiply both sides by -2. Multiply both sides by -2. And the very first thing, that's what I'm going to do. So on the left-hand side, I'll get x plus 5, and I'll have to switch the sign to less than. And on the right-hand side, I'll get -6. So notice that I went from greater than to less than. And then the last step, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So I'll get x is less than -11. So that would be my solution for number 1. And when I graph it, I'm going to put a number line. I'm going to put -11 in the middle. I'm going to put -12 on the left-hand side, -10 here. And I'm going to put an open dot around -11. I'm going to shade everything to the left. So that would be the solution for number 1. Example number 2. The very first thing I'm going to do, example number 2, is subtract 7 from both sides. When I subtract 7 from both sides, they'll cancel on the left-hand side, and I get -2t is greater than or equal to, or excuse me, I did not switch the variable this time because on this one, I'm just subtracting 7, so it'll be less than or equal to 14. And then the next step that I'm going to do is divide by -2. So since I'm dividing by a negative number, I will flip the inequality sign. So this will be t is greater than or equal to -7. So that will be my solution for this problem. I'll be graphing it quickly. I'll graph -7 in the middle, -8 on the left, -6 here. I'll put a closed dot on -7. I'm going to graph everything to the right. Okay, next example, example number 3. This is a difficult example. I'm going to multiply by 8 on everything by 8. 8 is the LCD, the least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply the numerators by 8. So I will get 40 over 8 is less than 24 over 8, x minus 8 over 4. Now when I do that, they should all simplify to be whole numbers. So this would be 5 is less than 3x minus 2. So it happened where all the fractions went away. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve the problem. So here I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I get 7 is less than 3x. And then I'm going to divide by 3. And I get that x. I get this. 7/3 is less than x, but I want to switch that around and make that x. When I switch it around in inequality sign, I need to switch the sign as well. When I switch the numbers on both sides, when I switch these two, I also need to switch the sign in the middle. Okay? Here's the next two examples. These are practice problems. I want you to pause it to practice these problems on your own. Make sure that you take the time to do them the best that you can, and then check your work. Okay, all the work will be shown, so you can check your work for both of these problems, problem number 4 and problem number 5. So pause it, try your best, and then check your work. All right, so here's the answers for each one of these problems, and here's the number line at the bottom for each problem that's shown. So on number 4, you're going to have to switch the sign on number 4 in the middle, right here. So make sure you remember to do that. This is the best answer for number 4. C is less than 2. And then number 5, you're not going to have to switch the sign on number 5. The answer is x is greater than 1/8. And then this is the best example of graphing it here, where if you notice each number that's graphed, it goes in increments of 1/8. So that is a very difficult graph to draw. I would not expect you to draw that. Maybe a easier graph for this one would be just to graph the numbers -1, 0, and 1, and to put an open dot where 1/8 would be, and to graph everything to the right of that. That would be okay for my class. Okay? Thanks.